Hey everybody, welcome to Do You Believe on Paranormal Zone TV. Thanks everyone so much for joining us tonight. And for those who may be new to the show, if you would please subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it. And please don't forget to give the show a like. Now tonight I'm really excited to have back my dear friend, Vanessa Hogle. And tonight... Vanessa?
Hello. Oh, Norene, you know, honey, I can only see your picture.
I know.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's all you're going to see.
Just making sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Vanessa Hogle. As Norene said, she's my buddy. Love her to death. I am an author. Well, first, I'm a dental assistant and a mother. I am an author and a YouTube host in my own right with Mike Ricksecker, Haunted Road Media. We do Edge of the Rabbit Hole every Tuesday night. Please watch. And I do remote viewing and automatic drawing and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yes. Okay. And tell them the website. What's the site to go see your radio show?
It is on YouTube, and it is Haunted Road Media. And the show is called Edge of the Rabbit Hole. And we had a great show this last Tuesday. Mike and we were discussing with the people in the chat room about shadow people and other paranormal anomalies. And I had some great footage from a team that I work with in Sheffield, England, MP Paranormal. I had their footage on there. Mike had some of his footage that he and Shauna Wankel had gotten on some of their investigations. The chat room got really involved. My house went crazy. All kinds of spooky, haunted, fucked up shit that I've got going on right now.
That's what I heard.
Sorry. Party mouth. And it's on YouTube, so please go give it a look-see. We had a great time.
All right, so let's start the show.
Yes.
Tonight, and Vanessa, hope you have your pencil and tablet ready. So Vanessa, as she said, she is a remote viewer and she does automatic drawing. And she's done several of those drawings on the last shows that we did air together. And I'm hoping tonight, if it comes to her, that she will have some drawings for us. And she will also be doing, using her gift of remote viewing. All right, so the case tonight, the first one is the Girl Scout murders. Now, I've always been interested in this one, so I thought we would do this tonight. All right, so this is the Girl Scout murders. It was Camp Scott, a 610-acre summer camp for Girl Scouts and Brownies. It is located 3 miles southwest of Locust Grove, Oklahoma. It was the site of the brutal bludgeoning deaths of 3 little girls, Girl Scouts, on June 13th, 1977.
Okay, this is interesting. What you and I talked about a minute ago, what I'm going to ask the viewers to help me with, that this person lives literally within a stone's throw of this area. And I have been wanting to go out there to the actual location of these murders forever, and I just have not had a chance because of my schedule. But I'm going to, and so we're going to have a follow-up.
You're going out to this location? No way. It's abandoned now.
I live in Oklahoma.
Oh, God.
I'm going to take my happy ass out there. It's the person, like I said, what I spoke to you privately about and what I'll ask the viewers about, the person that I'm helping on a totally unrelated separate case lives a stone's throw from there.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Oh, well, you know what? Then you've got to report back to me. And the next time, yes. And the next time we do our show, then you've got to bring me the information on this, because I've been fascinated with this case for a long time, and so that's why I wanted to do the show tonight.
Well, and the thing is I think what has people so and not morbidly fascinated. I mean, not that.
Not that. Absolutely. It's just.
I don't want to spin on it, but the brutality, from what I know of the case, because like I said, I am in Oklahoma, so this definitely.
I'm going to tell. All right. Well, let me tell them the story on it, and then then you do your part. Okay. So let me go back to this. It was the site of the brutal bludgeoning deaths of 3 Girl Scouts on June 13th, 1977. The 3 had been sexually molested but not raped. Doris had been strangled. Lori and Michelle were bludgeoned. Their bodies had been carried more than 100 yards from the tent. Operated by the Magic Empire Council of Girl Scouts since 1928, Camp Scott was perfect for boating, hiking, fishing, and camping. It introduced as roommates on the first night of camp Lori Lee Farmer, Michelle Gus, and Doris Denise Milner went to their tent. Their tent was located at the outer edge of the wooded camp and isolated from the other tents. Hold on. As night fell upon the camp, the counselors checked to make sure that the 100 Girl Scouts were in their assigned tents. As counselors walked away from the tents, they saw a dim light in the woods, then it disappeared. I'm showing pictures as I'm trying to read this. The counselors thought the light in the woods was some sort of prank and went to their tent. At 2 a.m., counselors heard some Girl Scouts making noises and went to quiet the campers. Several Girl Scouts told them that a man looked into their tents and then walked away. Others said they heard someone outside their tent. Another Girl Scout heard a girl screaming, "Mama, Mama," at 2 a.m. Also, girls said a man grabbed them as they walked toward the bathroom. One girl became hysterical in the woods when she thought she saw a man. The counselors told the Girl Scouts to go to sleep and went back to their own tent. They didn't look around for the strange man. At 6 a.m. on Tuesday, June 13th, Carla Slew Wilhite, a counselor at Camp Scott, went to take an early shower. She walked on the trail and noticed some things under a large tree. As she got closer, she noticed some sleeping bags. Then she saw Doris Denise Milner's nude body. At that time, Carla couldn't see the other 2 dead bodies. The other bodies were still zipped up in their sleeping bags and naked from the waist down. At 6:30 a.m., Mays County District Attorney Sidney Wise said all 3 of the small victims had died from blunt trauma to the back of the head and strangulation. They had lengths of cord around their necks and had been gagged and bound with a 2-inch wide black electrical tape. All of the victims had been sexually molested. Their clothes found a few feet from the bodies. The killer or killers carried the bodies about 100 to 150 yards from their tent and piled the young victims under a tree. Police arrested Gene Leroy Hart, a Locust Grove native, and charged him with the murders. She's shaking her head. Charged him with the murders of Lori Lee Farmer, 8, Michelle Guz, 9, and Doris Denise Miller, 10. Hart was acquitted in April of 1979. Shortly before he died, he wrote a letter proclaiming his innocence. A DNA test was performed in 2008 on materials from the crime scene. Investigators described it as the results of inconclusive. Authorities described the case as still open and also inactive. Okay. Your thoughts.
He didn't do it. There's four people. There's 4 guys. Hold it.
Okay.
I can only see one clearly. It's got a scar too, like cut here. I don't know how to draw a scar, but you'll know what I mean. I'm sorry it's quiet, y'all. Give me a minute.
Oh yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, let the viewers, y'all, I suck at hair. Just go with it, okay? Because I'm not the best at hair. But it's like thinning through here, and then there's like that little widow's peak thing. Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Another trucker. Okay, can you...
Okay, let's see.
See
Yeah,
'em?
yeah. It's really bright. Okay. So, yeah, awesome. Right there. How old would you say this fella is?
26.
How old?
26.
Do you have a name? Are you picking up a name? What?
Alan.
Alan. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But there were 3 other guys, but this is the only one I can see clearly.
And there were no women, but three other.
No women.
Wow. What was their intent? I mean,
they could.
were they drunk? Were they on drugs?
Drugs.
They were on drugs.
And it's weird because, and I'm not hearing this. I'm not hearing this in my head. I don't know where it's coming from, but I'm not saying that any police organization did not look anywhere else. I'm just saying that it feels to me like maybe they had their sights set and missed the forest for the trees, because I think this person and 3 others were somewhere in the radar, and they were overlooked.
So then it was just was their intent to be there at nighttime? Had they planned this out, or was it just a random thing?
It feels planned. It feels planned, not necessarily those girls, but just whoever would have been in that area. Because it feels really, really, really remote. Now, I know a campsite's remote regardless.
Right.
You know, I know that. But it feels really remote.
Well,
you know, I think they were really victims of time, location, location and opportunity.
Right. And the tent that they happened to be in was the last tent, and it wasn't even near the other tents.
That's ridiculous.
It was more remote, exactly. Okay. Is there anything else you can tell us about the case?
He had a connection. This one had a connection somehow with the camp. He knew the layout.
Could he have been maybe a grounds worker or something for this facility?
Could have been. Honestly, it feels like maybe a counselor, maybe a previous counselor, maybe not at this particular camp, but maybe one in close proximity. If there is one, I don't know.
Wow.
But he doesn't feel like he had always been this way or this evil along with those. It was more of a, this is how things evolved kind of thing, and he just went with it.
Now, what about the other three that were with him?
Bad dudes. I can't see them though, but they're big. There's two of them that are quite large. He, just from the outline I can see, this one right here, I would only put it about 5'10", maybe, and not hugely built. There's two others that are quite large. From what I can see in my head, as far as, because I mean I can't make out their facial features, but they do look like they've got dark hair and quite large. And then the other one is further back. Almost feels like he didn't play quite as big of a part in it, but was there. I think if they could have gotten a hold of this one that I drew and the one that's standing in the back, they could have broken either one of them and maybe gotten the other two. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But, all right, so I guess there weren't any screams heard.
No, these girls screamed.
They screamed, but nobody...
Not for long, but they did scream.
But wait a minute, now I think one of my notes said that at 2 a.m., one of the Girl Scouts heard somebody scream, "Mama, Mama." So it could have been one of them.
Biggest girl was the first one to go.
Wow. Wow. That's... All right, do you want to move on to the next case?
Please.
Okay. All right.
We'll get more on that when I can actually get out to the location.
Oh, I would love to do a show.
I have to go now.
Well, yes, will you take pictures for me? I would love to do a show on that.
Yes. I'm going to take my friend Jana with me. She'll keep me sane.
Oh, yes. Take pictures. I would love to do what you pick up on this. All right. So the next case I've always been interested in is the Jameson family. I don't know if you've heard of this or not. It's Bobby and Sherilyn Jameson and their 6-year-old daughter Madison went missing in Red Oak Mountain area of southeast Oklahoma in October 2009.
I was actually contacted by somebody else a while back about this case.
No. Oh my gosh. No kidding.
Yes.
All right. Well, let me...
I'm going to be going to that location as well. When I have to... Can y'all win the lottery for me so I don't have to work 70 hours a week and maybe I can do this all the time? It'd be great.
Oh
okay,
my God. Well, I wish I had told you the cases. Then we could have held off on these. All right, so... Darn. All right, let me finish reading. Over 100 people searched for the Jameson family, but no sign of them was found until November 13th. November 2013, when the skeletal remains of 2 adults and a child were found in the woods face down and side by side, roughly 3 miles from where their vehicle, it's tough doing pictures and reading, their vehicle had been abandoned. July 2014, their remains were positively identified as the Jameson family, though a cause of death was never determined. Rather than provide closure to the Jamesons' friends and family, it just raised questions as to what really happened to them. The Jamesons lived in Eufaula, Oklahoma, about 30 miles away from where they were found in the isolated mountain range of Red Oak. The Jamesons were interested in purchasing a 40-acre plot of land. When their truck was found in 2009, there was no sign of... All right. Period. When their truck was found in 2009, there was no sign of distress or struggle, and the vehicle had not crashed. Inside the car was Bobby and Sherilyn's wallets, their IDs, mobile phones, a GPS, maps, and $32,000 in cash. More disturbingly, the family dog Maisie was also in the car, malnourished from not having eaten in a week. The dog survived and went to live with Bobby's mother. Theories surrounding what happened to the Jameson family have swirled since the disappearance, but nothing has ever been substantiated. Drugs were also thought to be a part of the equation. Red Oak is known for producing crystal meth, and Sherilyn and Bobby both looked emaciated in the weeks before their disappearance. Security video of the two outside of their house the day they left for the mountains showed them moving in a trance-like state, and the huge amount of cash in their truck made this a credible theory. Sherilyn's best friend thought it was possible the Jamesons were possibly involved in a one-off meth deal because they were experiencing some money troubles at the same time. Both Sherilyn's mother and Bobby's mother do not believe their kids were involved in drugs, and police found no evidence of illicit substances in the Jamesons' truck. The most interesting theory behind the death of the Jameson family has to do with cults, witchcraft, and evil spirits. During the initial investigation, before the bodies were found, the family's pastor, Gary Brandon, told police the Jamesons had been involved in spiritual warfare. Both Bobby and Sherilyn claimed to have seen spirits in their house belonging to a family who died long ago. Daughter Madison claimed to speak to a spirit of a child who died in the house. Bobby asked his pastor for special bullets to shoot the spirits with, and claimed he consulted a satanic Bible to exorcise the property. Sherilyn and her friend Nikki were interested in witches and both had bought witches' Bibles as a joke, which the police found when searching the Jameson property. Despite joking about witches, they felt the Jameson house was haunted. Once I was in the living room and this sort of gray mist descended down the stairs. It really scared me, Nikki told the Daily Mail. She also said that Sherilyn told her gentle husband Bobby could come towards her with his eyes completely dead and black as he was possessed. Sherilyn would leave notes around the house that would say things like "Get out," "Satan," and was researching whether the house was built on Native American burial ground. Connie Cocaton, Sherilyn's mother, believes her family fell victim to witchcraft of a religious cult. Connie claims that the portion of Oklahoma is known for harboring cults and stuff like that, and was told that Sherilyn was on the cult's hit list around the time of her disappearance. And Connie did not offer any names of cults or any other details regarding her statement. The trail in the Jameson case is now cold. Israel Beach Camp, the sheriff at the time of the disappearance, quit the force in 2011 and moved overseas. According to Sherilyn's friend Nikki, he couldn't stand the guilt of not being able to find Madison's killer. Pastor Gary Brandon also left the area shortly after Jameson's disappearance and has not spoken to anyone about the case. Even though the Jamesons' remains were found and put to rest, not knowing what happened has caused torment to the surviving friends and family that will probably never end. What are your thoughts?
Okay, I have lots of them.
All right.
Okay. And I'm going to apologize to the viewers because this one is quite upsetting to me on many levels. For one, just like the previous one that we just spoke about, you're talking about children, and I have a huge, huge problem with that. The other thing is there's something that it really shocks and it shames me, that the one thing that really set this into motion is the one thing nobody discussed, and that was mental illness. And
Kenny, 1 second, honey, for a second. Do you have a fan going or something?
No.
We're hearing a noise like a fan. Is that are you using a computer?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it must be the fan on the computer.
I can't hear a darn thing.
Okay, well, we're getting the sound over here. It sounds like a fan going. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
That's okay. Just if y'all see anything, we'll deal with it later. Okay? I've been going through this all week. Shit starts flashing, just ignore it. But there was some mental illness going on. I want to address the witchcraft part real quick, if y'all will humor me for just a moment. Oklahoma is the middle of the damn Bible Belt. Okay? And if you can't understand something, or if you don't want to deal with something, or if you don't like someone, or if they're different than you, guess what? Guess what they get labeled as something horrible. You know, they're a part of a cult, or they're a devil worshiper, or they're this, or they're that. Trust me. Personally, I know exactly what that feels like, and I deal with it all the time. So I take that very personally. That's how things were construed, and I believe that's where things got messed up. I'm not saying the police didn't ask the right questions, but the thing is, yes, their house was haunted. Yes, they had mental illness. Were they having difficulties, handling that? Yes. Did they consult a satanic Bible? No. No. Okay? First off, to get rid of something in your house, that's not what you're going to pick up. And anyone who knows anything about witchcraft would know that. And if they were truly involved in any type of witch's coven or cult, they would know that. Just because it's cult doesn't mean it's satanic. I cannot say that strong enough. Because now I'm repeating, stop. Jesus. Sorry. I'm sorry, Norene.
That's what's going on.
It's repeating myself back to me now.
Oh my God. Okay. Stop it. Go away.
Fuck. Okay. They were dealing with stuff that they did not know how to handle, and no one in that town was going to take them seriously or help them handle it, and know that they're handling it when they're also dealing with stuff up here: mental illness, depression, high levels of anxiety, paranoia, hysteria, all these different things that in a regular day-to-day existence is hard enough. You throw paranormal experiences on top of the mix, and you've got the perfect storm. You've got the perfect storm. They were not, what I'm being told, were not looking to buy land. Were they looking to leave? Yeah. They weren't looking to buy land. But they did perish by their own hand. It was the mom and the dad's choice to take all three.
So there were no killers.
No.
Who killed who first?
Mom and dad discussed it. They decided it. Dad gave to mom and daughter, and then took himself.
Why? Because of the mental illness?
Mental illness on top of the paranoia, on top of everything else. It was the only way out that they could see.
Why did they take their cash with them?
Who knows? That I'm not hearing, but it was not to buy a plot of land. not to buy a plot of land. They weren't part of a drug deal either. It doesn't take a psychic to realize if they were part of a drug deal gone bad, that vehicle would have been stripped clean.
All right, let me ask you. Then when they drove up to Red Oak into this isolated area, I was up on a hill or a mountain or whatever. Was this all planned out? Do you think?
Loosely. It could have been hit or miss whether or not it was going to happen then. Stop it. Did you hear that?
I heard a ding or something. Bing. What was that?
I have no idea. Anyway, maybe that was a ding. You're right. Did I get one? Yay! I don't know what else to say. I don't really know what to say. But the thing is, the plan was loose, is what I'm feeling from it. It wasn't necessarily that they drove there to do that, but it was an option. And that is my feeling as to why it was dad, mom, daughter, and dog, and money, and everything else. That it might have been talking about going away, and the feeling that I get is that they didn't think that it would leave them, that leaving the property wouldn't get rid of it. They were not on a hit list. They were not on a hit list. I can't make that any clearer. Besides, there are plenty of ways to take care of that if you're actually a witch, and you don't have to do it this way. So, that angers me so much. But no, it was straight up mental illness by their own hands with a certain type of substance that made the passing somewhat easy, almost as if they were going to sleep.
Mm-hmm. But yet they took their dog with them. Now,
no, when you're mentally ill, there's no rhyme or reason to stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Like I said, my feeling is that they were trying to leave, got certain ways away, and then just decided, you know what, it's just going to follow us.
Now, Vanessa, do you feel that the mental illness was always there, or was this had something to do with the house that was doing this to them?
I think it was exacerbated by the house. I think that the high levels of anxiety and depression weren't necessarily manic. I don't think that they were, always so obvious, but put in that particular situation, I think that it really did kind of add fuel to the fire and make things so much worse than what they would have been in a setting where that wasn't the case.
Do you see how they killed themselves?
With pills. It's very simple. It's OD. All three of them went to sleep. That's what I'm seeing. If anybody out there can find any information that leads it to a different direction, by all means, please contribute. Okay? I've said this on every single show I've done with Norene. This is not the Vanessa show. I am not a one-woman, team that goes in and takes care of this. If anybody has information or any feeling, if you have a psychic feeling on it, by all means share it. Because it might not be my information that gets something solved, it might be yours. Okay? And it just being on this show, getting you to talk about it, might be it. So please, by all means, please do that.
Okay, do you want to move on? Are you ready? Do you have anything else to say, or do you want to move on to the next case?
I got hit today with an image of a man, and I need to know. He's not involved. He's not involved in the first case. I don't think he's involved in this. I don't know if he's for a viewer. Could be that. Might not have anything to do with the cases. But I want to go ahead and show it to you.
Go ahead.
Show it to the viewers.
Let me pull you on full screen. Okay, here, I got it full screen. All right. So tell them again. You're showing this because you got this image in your mind today.
Hey, and he's got a little stubble. Oh, oh. Is that about it?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
good?
awesome right there. Does anybody recognize this man?
I don't know if he has to do with any of these cases or if it's for a viewer. But I wanted to show it. Okay, everybody see that? So I'm going to go ahead and pull it down now.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it's on my paper. It's my tray liners that I put people's dental hygiene stuff on. Oh, that was a good shot.
Yeah, that is a
That's
good shot.
good.
That's awesome. All right, hold on.
No. Yeah, they were asking me at work, what the hell are you drawing? And I said, you don't want to know. They're used to it. They love me. Thank heavens. I'm so blessed because that hasn't always been the case when you do shit like this. So, what are you going to do, right?
Wow. Okay, well, that'll be on the show, so if anybody sees, when they rewatch the show, they'll see that drawing.
Okay.
All right, so let's do the next case then.
Okay. I'm going to have another cigarette because, damn.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm here by myself. My son is at his dad's tonight, so I'm not smoking with my kid in the house. I know somebody had a little shit fit over that one time, so.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Now, somebody's saying in chat that he is my dad. He died in 2005.
Of cancer. I'm sorry. Can I ask if it was
All right.
cancer?
It's somebody by the name of Mrs. K. Kruger. Is he my dad? She has no idea, Mrs. Kruger. That's just a sketch that it's just a sketch that came to her vision today. So we have no idea if it is or not.
And it was around, I don't know if this is important or not, if this is for a viewer. Stop repeating me. It was around 2 p.m.-ish, I want to say. So I'm throwing that out there just in case the time is important.
All right, so let's move on to the next case. All right, this is the Texarkana, a small town that straddles the state line between Texas and Arkansas. It's also known as the town that dreaded sundown thanks to the 1976 horror flick of the same name. Set in Texarkana and based loosely on a string of local slangs, the slasher film came out 2 years after the Texas Chain Massacre and Black Christmas and 2 years after Halloween. Yet the true story behind the Texarkana Moonlight murders is chilling as anything seen on the silver screen, and made all the more unsettling the case remains unsolved. The mysterious Moonlight murders rocked the sleepy southern town of Texarkana in 1946. Police on either side of the state line struggled to work as one, while the killings themselves possess the iconic quality of an urban legend. Young couples parked at the end of a lonely country road, savaged after the sun went down. Some claim that the infamous campfire tale of the lovers who catch a report of a hook-handed killer on the car radio, only discover a bloody hook hanging from their back door, can be traced to the Texarkana Moonlight murders. The killer is described... The killer is described by witnesses as wearing a white mask or sack with holes cut for eyes, was dubbed the Phantom Killer or Phantom Slayer, a name that, like so much about the case, seemed ready-made for the drive-in theaters. Authorities believed he killed 5 people in 10 weeks. 3 others, including his first 2 victims, survived their attacks. The first attack took place on February 22, 1946, on a secluded road outside of town. All right, hold on for a minute. The Phantom approached Jimmy Hollis and Mary Jean Larry, a young couple parked in their car. He blinded them with his flashlight upon approach. Then he held them at gunpoint and ordered them out of the vehicle. The Phantom told Jimmy Hollis to remove his pants and proceed to beat him severely, fracturing his skull. The Phantom told Mary Jean Larry to run. When she scrambled toward a ditch, he told her to change course and run toward the road. He then chased her down and sexually assaulted her before letting her run away again. In spite of the savagery of their attacks, both Hollis and Larry survived. Others were not so lucky. Hold on for a minute. In March, Richard Griffin and Pollyann Moore were found dead in their parked car at the end of a secluded road. A few weeks later, they were joined by another young boy and girl, Paul Martin and Betty Jo Booker. Booker was the Phantom's youngest victim at only 15 years old. In the first week of May, the Phantom killer attacked what are his last official victims, a husband and wife in their farmhouse northeast of town. Virgil Starks was killed by 2 shots in the back of his head, but his wife Katie survived. In spite of being shot twice in the face, oh my God, and having to run down the street to a neighbor's house to get help. While the Phantom was on the loose, Texarkana was like a city under siege. Residents armed themselves and curfews were set for local businesses. In spite of the involvement of the Texas Rangers, no arrest was ever made in connection with the Moonlight murders. Many people believe that the local man named Yoel Sweeney, arrested in 1947 for auto theft, was the Phantom. His wife confessed as much at the time, but by law she could not testify against him. She later repudiated her confession. Sweeney remained in prison as a habitual offender until 1973 and died in 1994 without ever implicating himself in the murders. This legacy lives on, haunting the country roads of Texas and Arkansas beneath the glow of the moon. What are your thoughts?
Well, they should call it the Phantom's murders because not all of these are connected. They're not. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there right now. The first murder was committed by an African American gentleman in retaliation for Ku Klux Klan activities. He was unbelievably angry. He didn't have the parts to rape on his own. So that is why. Stop!
What's happening? You okay?
Yeah. Okay. Did you hear any of that? Okay, so those attacks and the vulgarness of them and the humiliation tactics in those had a very specific purpose, and that they were never going to catch who that was. Okay, not only was this person unbelievably angry and had an amazing amount of revenge built up in him, or need for vengeance, he was also extremely intelligent. So they were not gonna get that. The other two were actually committed by a guy that went to school with
Oh, Booker. Her last name was Booker.
He was a student.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, completely different person. Completely different person. And it was a white kid. And I want to say that the last name is Stevens, but it's spelled with a PH. Stephen's.
So Betty Jo Booker, the 15-year-old, but then she was with Paul Martin. So did he also kill Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Is this a serial? Are these murders from a serial killer?
From a wannabe serial killer at the time, yes. So somebody that kind of, I don't want to say that they had kind of like that fascination with that type of stuff, but in a sense, really they did. From all the way from the Old West movies to the stories about the, New York and Chicago mafia, that type of thing. It was shoot 'em up kind of person. They really got a thrill out of it. They got a thrill out of it. He was about 5'11", almost 6 foot, like right under 6 foot, and he had kind of like what we would call a ginger. He was quite pale, and he had ginger hair, and I would say maybe average build, but had a lot of freckles on his face. He would have stood out, and that is one of the reasons why they were done at night. It wasn't, to be romanticized like the Moonlight Killer or anything. Done at night because somebody like that is going to stand out during the daytime. Yeah. Especially in a place like Texarkana.
I think I read somewhere they were trying to possibly connect this to the Zodiac Killer.
I'm not feeling a connection.
Oh no, I don't think there is at all. Oh no, but it had the same. It had the same implications. The mask,
Yeah, it's the first fellow with the mask had a completely different meaning. I'm really honestly surprised nobody picked up on it. I'm kind of stunned actually.
Really?
So, yeah. That was an African American fella with a white mask on. What would be your first thought if you were in law enforcement? I have my notifications and everything turned off, so why my computer is bleeping at me, I have no flipping idea.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Okay, so is there anything else you can tell us about these murders in Texarkana?
The gentleman, I'm sorry for calling him a gentleman. The man that committed the first two crimes, where there were two living witnesses. He that was all he ever did.
Really?
That was all he ever did. Those were the only crimes he ever did. That was his vengeance. I mean, they were left alive on purpose. So that's it.
Never thought about that. Thought about that.
Yeah. The other murders were committed by the ginger-haired fella, and he is actually still alive today.
How old do you think he is today?
He was about 16 then. Actually, okay, so no, I'm okay, he's 46. He would be, because I'm not feeling he's dead, he'd be in his 80s.
Oh, in his 80s, yes. And so the other murders were committed by this fella, and are you saying it's a Stevenson? You're getting a name Stevenson? Stevens with a PH.
PH,
is that
not with a P.
First or last name?
Last.
Very interesting.
Clean cut looking kid. But I can't get a make on what he looks like today. wasn't that Sweeney fella you were talking about.
Okay.
Now, I don't think he was a good person, but he did not do these.
Okay. Interesting. Why did this Stevens stop? Why didn't he continue on killing?
Well, he just stopped in Texarkana. I'm not saying he didn't do something elsewhere, but those were the only ones he did in Texarkana.
Was he afraid of getting caught?
No. No. It was just more of like a rush at the time. I think that he continued to have additional rushes later doing different things, but his started out, I mean, in the smallest way, things that would have been noticeable to people had they have paid attention, had he not have looked so clean cut, had he not have looked like, the all-American boy, they would have noticed these things a little bit more. But, back then's no different than today. I mean, if you hear of something awful happening, and you put a goth kid next to a jock, where's your first thought going to go to is the one who did it. So he got away, well, literally got away with murder. So it feels like the husband and wife, what did you say, Starks?
Oh yeah, the husband and wife, they were in their farmhouse.
They would have been able to recognize him, because it doesn't feel to me like he got real close to them. At least not to the husband. Did he get close to the husband?
I don't know. Just that
because it feels like a distance.
He shot him in. I think he shot him. I think my note said he shot him in the head.
But from how far away?
Oh gosh, I don't know, honey.
It doesn't feel like he was close.
Okay.
Like he was like even out of line of sight.
Maybe outside the window. Maybe there was a window's view. Could he have shot him like through a window?
Quite possibly, because it feels like he was out of sight. Like they would have been able to recognize him. And it doesn't even feel like it's personal to them. It's more like, well, I got a chance to do this. I've got the gun on me. Let's go for it. Kind of that type of mentality.
So he didn't. So he didn't personally pick this couple out.
No, it was again more of an opportunity.
Wow.
The feeling that I am getting from it is, I don't want to use the term soulless, but people who lack any semblance of empathy can come across that way. I mean, it was as if they were almost specimens just to see if he could do it.
Wow.
There was no sympathy or empathy at all towards them. That shit hurts.
Were you feeling it? Are you feeling the gunshot?
Just pain, and it's weird because it's like coming from back here, but it's almost like it's going around, which is strange. I don't like it.
Oh, wow. Okay, do you have anything else to say about this case?
I wish they would have caught him, but they were never going to go that way. And like I said, the first fella, he did what he had to do for him. I'm not saying that he should have done that. I cannot get a make on his name because I don't believe that he was, I don't want to say he didn't have a name, but he didn't use the name he was given, if that makes sense. It was almost as if he what happened to him was so bad, the first killer, that he wiped out his own identity. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I mean, I don't even feel like he could have performed rape by himself. You know where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
As if maybe he was castrated. And that's what it feels like.
Wow.
So, that would be the reason behind the violation and how it was.
Okay, can we move on to the last one?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
These are rough.
What's going on over there?
I don't know.
All right. This one is from Australia.
Okay.
This is, I really like old unsolved cases. I love them for some reason. So this one's really old, from 1898, and I just picked out one of those. All right. So this is called the Gatton murders. It's one of Australia's oldest unsolved murder mysteries. Michael Murphy, 29, and his sisters Nora, 27, and Ellen, 18, were murdered on December 26, 1898, near Gatton and Lockyer Valley, on the way back to their parents' property after the country dance was canceled. The trio had earlier spent the day at the Boxing Day races near Mount Sylvia. Their brother-in-law, William McNeil, set out looking for them the following morning after they did not return home. He followed their horses' tracks along Tent Hill Road as they veered through slip rails into Moran's paddock, where Ghost Gully Produce is located today, where he came across the grisly murders. Michael's body was found with his skull battered in, lying on the front, on his front, but with his head turned on the side. Hold on. His hands were folded behind his back, and there was evidence his wrists had been tied up. The post-mortem carried out at the time revealed Michael died as a result of a single rifle shot to the head, with the bullet having entered behind his ear. Both Nora and Ellen had been tied up with handkerchiefs.
Was he hit?
He was, he was hit with a rifle. With a rifle.
On the side of his head, right side?
Oh, honey, it doesn't say. Let me see. It doesn't say.
If someone can look that up, please tell me.
Okay, let me see. Oh, here it is. I put him down. Okay. Michael's body was found with his skull battered in, lying on his front, but his head had been turned to the side. His hands were folded behind the back, and there was evidence his wrists had been tied up. In the post-mortem that was carried out, it revealed he died of a result of a single rifle shot to the head, with the bullet having entered behind his right ear. Both Nora and Ellen had been tied up with handkerchiefs. They had been repeatedly bashed, raped before being killed with several blows to the head. The trio's horse was also shot in the head and lay near the woman's bodies. The bodies were also moved before the crime scene photos had been taken. All three bodies were strangely placed on a blanket in a way that formed a triangle, and their legs placed in a way in which all their feet pointed west. No one has ever been charged in the triple murders. Now that was kind of bizarre. And they said that type of scene has never been duplicated before. So what are your thoughts on that?
If any one of them were to lean towards the occult, this would be the one. But not for I hate to even use the word reasons, but not in any way that anyone that had any working knowledge of the occult would do. This was symbolism at its most clumsy. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It would be like if I was to commit a crime and I wanted to make it look like a blacksmith did it, okay? And I wanted to use blacksmith tools and the way that they did it, and the way that they use those tools. To the layman, it might look like that is who did it, but to anyone who knows anything about blacksmithing, they would see my mistakes, and they would understand that that it was somebody trying to imitate. And it feels to me, the vibe that I'm getting is that is exactly what happened. Is that this feels like a rich boy, like he had some connections, and I mean, he knew he was going to get away with it, and this was basically for fun, strictly for fun. There was one other person that was involved with it with them, kind of like let's get drunk and see what we can do tonight kind of thing, and it feels like they were playing around with what they would have considered black magic.
Oh, in 1898?
Hell yeah!
Wow.
Oh, honey, we've been around a long time.
Wow.
Yeah. Most people, when they think of any type of dark magic, black magic, witchcraft, anything like that, which it's white and black. Don't let people fool you. You can't have one without the other. It's just whichever side of the fence you lean on at that time. And anyone wants to call me out on that, go right ahead. But I know what I speak of. But it's been around. Most people think of it and they think of Wiccan. They think of neo-pagan. They think of new witchcraft, when in fact it has been around much longer than that. Much longer than that. Longer than most people care to really realize. It predates Christianity. So this would not be uncommon, and a fascination during that time frame would be pretty volatile, because the feeling that I get, this is not a big person. He is almost petite, if I can be so blunt. His friend was a little bit larger, very upper crust, very spoiled, very spoiled. Knew they were going to get away with it, had absolutely no worries about getting away with it. Knew that even if evidence did come back to them, there was no way they were ever going to go down for it. Their connections were so good. And it was pretty much just to see if they could do it. And that was their little dark magic ritual. And they did it. I mean, they got away with it. So, I want to say, and I don't know much, if anything at all, about any type of hierarchy in the government. And you said this is Australia?
Yes.
But it almost feels royal. Whatever that would be in Australia, that's what it feels like. It feels like that high up. Like the son of somebody important.
Wow. Very interesting.
Very sad, really, because, I mean, there was absolutely no reason for it, because what he was wanting to accomplish was never going to happen. But it was his attempt to try anyway.
Wow. Yeah, well, it was unsolved, and it's one of their cases that has remained unsolved in the Queensland. So I just was interested in that one because it was so old.
They're making a mistake, or they made a mistake, because obviously this is long since passed. They made a mistake by focusing solely on the positioning of the bodies and the sacrifice of the horse. Okay, they've made a huge mistake with that, because generally, if you're dealing with any type of occult, if you try one thing and what you did doesn't work, you don't try that again. You're going to try something different.
So the horse was a sacrifice beside the humans.
Yeah, which no self-respecting pagan or witch would really do. So obviously amateur. But I mean, it's like me. Most people who participate in witchcraft have a book of shadows. Maybe I should. I don't know. I myself don't personally have one. I don't. I've never felt the need. Whenever I practice, whatever I did at that time, on that date, for that spell, that was my use of it, and I'm done. So there's no reason to do it again, you know. So for me, and it's not something I'm ever going to pass down. My knowledge is mine, and it's going to die with me. Because I mean, that's just how I feel. I feel that strongly about it. And I'm not saying, you know, that he knew enough about that to know not to do the same thing again. I'm just saying that's kind of an easy thing to figure out. If somebody had given him information and told him, well, if you try this and it works great, if it doesn't, move on, you know, then that's probably what he did. But that's where they made their mistake. They actually might have had the chance to catch him because additional crimes were committed. They were committed. They just weren't committed in that same fashion. And that's where they messed up, was looking for a connection, trying to piece the two together.
So the position of the bodies has something to do with the occult or witchcraft?
In his mind, yes, it did. When you started talking about it, and I hope the viewers heard it, because you hadn't said it yet, I said their feet were pointing west. It was an odd attempt to possibly call four corners. It was a clumsy attempt, but it was an attempt nonetheless. And like I said, if anybody else has any views on that, by all means share them. I'm only going off of what I hear and my own knowledge of the subject, but a clumsy attempt and not tried again, but other things were tried again. And they would have had a very strong chance of catching him had they not have tried to connect the two, had they not have discounted, you know, the other things because it didn't look exactly like this.
Yeah, but how savvy were they in the 1800s?
Not very. Not very. You know, but I'm not saying that even with the last case that we were talking about, you know, back in 1946, that they weren't savvy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, you know, it is, when you're talking about things so gruesome, sometimes your brain goes a certain direction and you can't pull it back. And that can be a disability. That can actually be a hindrance into solving some of these things. You know, you have to be able to look outside the norm sometimes and question yourself and second guess yourself and just see, you know, if maybe you missed something, and don't be so, you know, hell bent on saying, no, this is what I feel and this is right and I know I'm right. You know, you can't do that, psychically or otherwise. So I think that's one of the reasons why we have so many unsolved cases out there. Not because people are that good at hiding what they did, but because sometimes we don't want to admit that we're missing something. But we don't want to say, I swear this guy did it, and I can't backtrack on that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which actually brings me to what I spoke to you about before we got on. And
Can I just say one thing?
Please do.
Mike Ricksecker, Haunted Roads Media is in the show.
Hi, Mike.
I thought you'd want to know that.
Hi. I love him to death. He's my buddy. He dealt with my bullshit here at the house the other day watching my script.
So go ahead and tell us what you tell the viewers what you wanted to tell them.
Okay. I am asking for help. Okay, and I don't do this very often, partly because I really try to keep my readings to a minimum because I honestly am so busy. And it's not that I'm so busy doing all of this. I'm so busy just with trying to feed my kid, you know, and work a regular job. And I really get bogged down. And I have been asked by an individual to work on a missing persons case. And I feel have gotten as far as I can go with this, and I would love additional help. And if anyone wants to contact me on Facebook, I won't share what I've gotten because I don't want to taint what you get, you know. But the person who contacted me about this missing persons case has approved me giving whoever contacts me a picture in hopes that they get a reading on it as well. I'm not looking to take credit for it. She'll know exactly where it comes from, and hopefully we can get some good news. So I would truly appreciate it if anyone has 5 minutes they can spare at your leisure, and just let me know and just contact me on Facebook, and I will more than happily send you the 2 pictures that I have, and then let her know any information that you get, and I'll let her know it came from you, not me. Okay? I appreciate y'all.
Now, are you able to get in? Hey, are you able to get into your Facebook page? I sent you a picture.
Let me see.
And Royce thought it looked like the picture that you drew. And
Which one?
The one that you got an image today. It had nothing to do with, you didn't know if it had to do with some of the viewers or whatever. And
Okay.
it was the picture the last picture that you showed. Now, does that picture resemble the picture that you drew?
Let me see. I'm pulling it up. It takes
Okay, that's okay. I just want to tell the viewers.
Wow. Let me look before I...
Okay, but I want to tell the viewers that a really dear friend of all of ours, Jeremy Legis, has passed away. His mother contacted me. He passed away on January 4th. And they found him a week later in his apartment, and they don't know how he died. And the mother's going to let me know they're doing they had an autopsy on him. There was
Is that this guy that you sent me the picture of?
Yeah, he died January 4th unexpectedly. They found his body a week later, and
May I show the viewers?
yeah. See if let me pull it up. Go ahead. I'll do full screen. Can you pull both of them up?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
All right. Everybody, if you remember Jeremy's the one that did the show with me on morticians. All right, hold on.
Let me turn on a light.
All right.
Nobody look at my fat ass, okay? Let's see.
All right, I'm going to pull you full screen.
Oh, God, let me see if I can get it to... I'm trying to get it to where... Let me unplug this.
Where's your sketch? I'm not sure.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Is that Jeremy?
Yeah.
So Jeremy was in contact with you today?
I just saw his face. But yeah, that's him.
Oh, I wonder why. Does he have a message?
I'll post this on my page. Oh, here we go. Can you see it?
Move Jeremy over to your left. God, the eyes look the same. Same eyes.
That's him.
Oh. Did Jeremy have a message or say anything?
No, but I mean, keep in mind, I was cleaning kids' teeth today, so I mean, I couldn't really talk to him. But yeah, can you see that okay?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh my God. Well, if you can contact him, can you let me know what he has to say? Because
I'll try. I'll post these pictures.
All right.
On Facebook.
All right.
And also the person that asked me to do that the missing persons case.
Uh-huh.
They messaged me on my phone and said that that I could post the pictures as well.
Okay.
Of the missing person.
All right.
that they're looking for. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully anybody out there, because like I said, I mean, I've hit a brick wall. And I don't know if it's just because of how much I'm working and all this crap that I've got going on or what, but I could use some help. And they could use some help. And I am not above asking for it. So if anyone who sees the pictures that I post gets anything, by all means, please contact me, and I could put you in contact with her. I could share. Stop, motherfucker. And sorry. And then hopefully we can get good news.
All right, awesome. Hey, thanks so much for being on the show tonight. Always a pleasure. Vanessa returns on March 30th with another awesome show. Also, I have another suggestion during the shows. I am so interested in these ghost pictures, and some are unexplained. And I'm going to just ask Vanessa next time, maybe during the show, if we could include some of those ghost pictures, if she could kind of tell us maybe, are they real or are they phony or what's going on? I'm really curious about some of them.
I'll give it a go.
Either that or we just do a whole show on those ghost pictures.
That sounds great. And let's get the chat room involved. You know, again, I'm going to say it one more time. You know, I love everybody to be involved. This doesn't have to be about me. I'm just the jumping off point. Okay, so let's get everybody involved.
All right, honey. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Vanessa, good luck with everything that you do. Thank you so much for being on the show. Again, it was a pleasure to have you on the show, and I just love you.
I love you too.
Thanks,
hon.
honey. Good night.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night.
Everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. I don't have time to take questions tonight. My hour, I've been over an hour, and but I will do some fast shout outs, okay? Ginger Simmons. Oh, first of all, I want to thank my mods, Royce, who is always here with me. I mean, love my Royce and love my Unique Annies. They're always here with me, and thank you so much for always being here. And thank them for having a wonderful chat room that we have. So I'm going to do some fast shout outs, and Jane Lafferty asked me to do a shout out for her because she's in Scotland and she can't always be here at the show, and I know Carl White's always watching. All right, let's do some shout outs. Lully Tooby, Applewood, Heather Michelle, B. Davidson, Astral Virgin, Andrew Cox, Santa McKenna, Tori May 66, Zoe Small, B3 Airspace, Rochelle, Barbara, Diane Hilbert, C. Star, Charmy, Vapin, what? Vape snitches. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm sorry. Joanne Gray, LG Ponsfield, Tammy Shout, Sandra Miller, Haunted Roads Media. Hey, Mike Ricksecker, Jenny Jacobs, Maria Sanda Amador, Astral Virgin. There's my Royce. Carrie Y, Tammy Sifford. Anybody else want to shout out? We had Andrew Brody, Susie Randall, Heather Michelle. Lori Duffy, Sean Bodine. Nice to see you back, Sean Miller, Janet Wolf, Kata Moon. Anybody else? We had almost 200 people tonight here. It was awesome. So don't forget, next week, Thursday, I have, he's from England. Steph Young, and he's written a book, Into the Woods. It's really scary stuff, so I can't wait to hear his story. Lully Tooby. All right, I'm going to, 0072, Kathy Salento. Yes, Mike is in the house. Alexandra Violet. Mike is on YouTube, Haunted Roads Media, and he also has a radio show. Let's see. Anybody else? Hi on Emmy? Don Lennon, Donald McGuire, Ellen Michael, Angela Rodriguez. Anybody else? We're still 134 showing. Mike, put in your website or your YouTube channel if it'll show it. Mama Joe Buffalo Woman, April Fagan. Thanks, Royce. Sadell. Anybody else want a shout out before I go? Hey guys, hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I did. It was wonderful. My husband took me to a really awesome French restaurant. It was really nice. Really, really nice. Red Panda. Have a great... Jimmy Cortez. Everybody pray for Jimmy. Please send positive thoughts to Jimmy your way. He needs them, as well as Royce. Okay? They need your positive prayers and thoughts. Chipeteri. Ronald Gaynor. Okay, I'm good. Anybody else want to shout out? Because I got to go. Laura Tarnowaski. Honey, yeah, Laura, we do 411 cases as well. All right, so I'm going to go. I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I love you. Group hug. And pray for Jeremy Lagos. Pray for his soul. I think he needs it. And that was really sad news. I was really upset when I heard that. So everybody, I love you. Lori Miller, have a great weekend. I'm looking forward to mine. And, oh, awesome, Mike. And I'll see you guys next Thursday, okay? Don't forget, you can sign up for show reminders. Paranormal Zone, ParanormalZone.tv, and there's a tab that says show reminders. I sent out over 200 today. All right, I love you guys. See you next Thursday. Okay, same time. Love you guys. Good night. Have a great weekend and be safe. Okay, thank you. Good night.